Hello, I am Ronin Pawn, and this is Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. This is Mission 4.5 is what I'm calling it. We did Mission 4, it didn't work out so well for us, so this one's going to have to be 4.5. Now, what we're doing now is loading up our recently redesigned ship. Had a little trouble with it last time, ran out of RCS, ran out of electric, didn't need a little claw on the top. In fact, would have been a lot better for us if it wasn't there, because I was so desperate to use it that I didn't realize I could have just knocked down this little bit of debris from orbit, and we would have been done. But I just kept trying to grab it, and then soon enough we're out of fuel, and actually Jeb was stranded for a minute. But anyway, so yeah, in case you don't know what we're doing, in case you missed Mission 4 and you're just jumping to Mission 4.5, first off, what are you doing? Go back and watch Mission 4, you silly bloke. Mission 4.5, what we're doing is we're going to go up and knock down a bit of debris that we left up in Mission 3. Yeah, so actually, if you're watching this Mission 4.5 and you haven't seen Mission 4, then don't go watch Mission 4, go watch Mission 3. And as long as you're watching Mission 3, might as well go back and watch Mission 2. And Mission 2, I mean, you're not going to understand at all what's going on unless you watch Mission 1. And Mission 1, you might as well just come to my house and we'll have a beer. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So yeah, we're burning whatever's going on screen. We're burning for orbit right now, and we're doing it in the dark because, I don't know, it's always in the dark on this channel. Ronin Pawn, I'm just always setting us up to do our entire missions in the dark. We're always on the dark side of something. We're always leaving at night. We're always returning at night. I don't know when we're going to break this darkness karma, but I have high hopes that it'll be soon, because I know I'm getting bored with it. I don't know about you. So anyway, here's our burn for circularization right now. The plan is that we will get ourselves a pretty little orbit and then spin around the planet a couple of times and get to the bottom, get to the periapse of the bit of debris and start pushing out. Now, the reason I go at it this way is I figure it would be very difficult. I suppose I haven't really tried it, but I figure it would be very difficult to just sort of do a suicide burn, just wait until the debris is running up on you and then, you know, blast all your fuel and try and catch its speed all at once. So rather than trying to do that, which I feel would be some sort of a Herculean effort, I'm just sort of going to do it in stages. So this is the first stage, pushing out a bit, and this push out is mostly just so that I can time warp at 1,000 times, at least when I get, you know, up to the apoapse there. That helps to spin this around because I believe it's about 4 hours in game that it was going to take that little bit of debris to come around where we wanted it. So now we're moving towards stage 2. We're going to set up our second burn, and this burn is going to be a little more serious. And you see what it's doing. It's going to put us into a nice... We're going to be very close to the debris as it swings by Kerbin, and we're going to have a very similar speed. Not the same speed, obviously, because we don't have the same orbit, but we're going to be close. So we start from being close, and then we get closer and closer and closer. Now, if there's a problem with this, the problem is in the commander. The problem is in the operator. The problem is with Ronin Pawn, to be honest with you, because as you're going to see in this video, I just get so absolutely anal retentive about where I want things and where I think things should be. You know, these two intersect points, look, even here. Oh, these need to be just a little bit, no, I just need to move them just a little bit closer, and then when you finally go over, you see, oh, look, the maneuver node is basically on your on your prograde. If you would have just fired on your prograde, you probably would have gotten close enough anyway. But no, I've got to tinker, I've got to have it just so and just right. I don't know, maybe that's what you need to do for this kind of thing. When you're trying to make an encounter, you know, you do have to be very specific. But I think even with being specific and doing it right, you're going to see, with the number of nodes that I put up and the number of, you know, tiny changes that I make here and there, I'm honestly wasting someone's time. I'm sure I am, and I think it's my own. So at this point in the video, we do have a pretty good path. We're running fairly well parallel to our debris, which we've nicknamed Debris. Debris, it's a nice name. It's a pretty name. I like Debris. I'd like to go out with Debris sometime. No, I'm taken. I'm taken for the moment. Sorry, Debris. You'll have to come back another time or not at all. We'll see. So, yeah. Debris is getting very close now, and again I'm tinkering with maneuver nodes. You can watch the screen. Why do I have to tell you what's going on? You can see it well enough. What shall we talk about then? If we're not going to talk about what we're looking at, nice weather we're having, isn't it? Actually, it's bloody cold here. I don't know where you are, where you're watching this from, but oh, bugger, it's getting cold. It's that time of year. Are we actually talking about the weather? I was making a joke there, and then I sort of got caught up in it. Okay, where are we now? Well, actually, we're getting to some of the good nodes. This is a really good node that I've got set up here. As you can see, the two separate encounter points have become one, because it's just such a good encounter point. So we're going to use this to basically establish our relative speed in our parallel trajectory to Debris. And there she is, coming in 2 kilometers or so, getting very close to us now, and we've switched out of the node mode, thank God. You know, nodes are fine, nodes are fun, but it's not much to watch, is it, on the YouTubes? I'd much rather be watching this right now. So I'm mixing. I'm burning a little bit of liquid fuel here and there. I'm burning that because it would have taken an awful lot of RCS to awful lot of monopropellant to match speeds at that point. But I will mix a little bit back and forth. Use the RCS, then use the liquid fuel. Pumping a bit of monopropellant out into space is an excellent way to make a subtle correction, especially when you're working with a node, and you get to the bottom and you're still, 0.05 meters per second off, or whatever it is, and you just need to make a tiny little correction. Use your RCS thrust as opposed to your liquid engine, because the liquid is going to be very, very powerful. So we're down to less than 1 kilometer away now. Debris is getting very close. She's getting very cheeky. She looks like she's got a look in her eye, mate. She's got a look in her eye. She wants to bump, is what I think. She wants to touch us. Let's not disappoint Debris. Let's get her a little bit closer. Come here, dear. Come here. Oh, where you going? Oh, just slipping by in the night, are you? Ship in the night? Okay. Well, we've gotten very close to Debris here, and now I'm going to, whoa, look out, Debris! You just about took my rocket off. You just about took my engine with you there, love. Be very careful, will you? Oh, jeez, you just about took my face off there. My winglets. She's really running around now. So, while we're sort of waiting to get our encounter, let me tell you about Mission 5. Let me do a little, what do they call that in marketing? A teaser. Let me do a little teaser, because Mission 5 is going to be awesome. It's going to take us a few recordings to do Mission 5, because I want you to come along for all of it. I want you to come along for design and build and everything. And it's going to be a heck of a build, a heck of a design, and a heck of a flight. Here's my plan. We're going back to the moon, like I said. I don't know if we'll have a rover. I'm just not sure what's going to come up in the tiers as far as parts go. So we may or may not have a rover. But we're not just going to the moon. We're going to the moon, and we're going to Minmus at the same time. And when I say at the same time, I mean at the same bloody time. What we're going to do is we're going to put one ship up that's going to contain both a lander for the moon and a probed vehicle that will land on Minmus. Because what happened in Mission 3, if you'll recall, is when we came down, I apparently destroyed or lost our Science Junior kit. I guess it it sunk to the bottom of the sea. So Kerbal Space Command was not very happy with me about losing our science data. So they want our Science Junior data from Minmus. So we're going to go back and we're going to get it from them, but we're not going to waste time doing the same mission twice. No. We're going to build an epic ship. An epic ship that will take us both to the moon and to Minmus, and bring both vehicles home. That's my plan anyway, so stay tuned for that in Mission 5. I think that's going to be absolutely great, and I'm going to break it up into sort of a series where first we're building the ship, and then we're testing the ship and so forth, and I won't drag it out. I'll drag it out as little as I possibly can, but I do want to have a bit of fun with it, because it'll be the biggest mission that I've put together for myself to date. Simple as that sounds. Running 2 separate lander missions simultaneously, that will be the biggest deal that I've had. Not just on the channel, but in my personal KSP career. So, we are getting close now. We are getting close. What I'm doing right now, I'm letting Debris get out away from us. I want her to get out there because I want a little room to make some maneuvers and make some adjustments. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to come in front of her relative to our orbit. So I want to come in front of her so that I'm facing her when I thrust, when I fire that delta V. You see how I'm positioning myself right now? Sort of parallel to her, sort of parallel to Kerbin. Kerbin's just off to the 90 degrees there. And when I just want to get her directly in front of me and then blast our engines. And I'm hoping that in just one thrust, we will get enough delta V out that we will have deorbited both her and ourselves, both Debris and the Kevin Mark 8, or whatever we're up to on this ship at the same time. So here we go. Silence, please. And that's it. That's as much as I could do, because I was losing her and I didn't want to start pushing her off of our retrograde. So, let's take a look at our periaps and see what we got from that. Did we indeed deorbit? I don't see any periapses. I think they're buried somewhere in not China right now. In Kerbin's not China. So yes, we did. We deorbited in one burn, and that's really wonderful, and I feel really great about that. It was so good, such a good mission, this 4.5, and it also really pisses me off, because we didn't need much. We needed so little. And all that time that I spent in Mission 4 up there tinkering and trying to grab it with that bloody claw, and in a heartbeat, all I had to do was hold down H, blast a little RCS for maybe 15 seconds, and we would have been there, we would have been home. Oh, I could just kick myself. Well, we are home now. Debris is off somewhere, splashing down, crashing into the surface of Kerbin, and Kerbal Space Command's car keys, hopefully they're made of titanium or something that can survive the impact, because otherwise they've burned up in orbit or they've collided into the surface. And look at this landing, isn't that perfect? We're in the desert and we happen to find an oasis, and we land just a meter from the lip of the water too. Isn't that great? So we're back on the surface. As long as we're here, might as well take some science data. I haven't been to the desert yet, so we've collected an EVA report from the surface. Now we're picking up 9 science value for collecting a surface sample. And the last thing that I want to do is get a EVA report from above the desert. So how do you do that? Well, first, you put your EVA report into the pod, you store your collected data from the other one, so we're going to store that experiment from the one we just took from the surface, and now we stand on a ladder and take a scientific value. As far as KSP is concerned, we're flying over the desert. So we got that value as well. Get Jeb back in the ship, and that's pretty much the end of this mission. We've collected a little bit of science, we've deorbited our debris. It's been a successful mission. It took us a while, it took us a number of runs. It was a major hassle in every sense but maybe it was entertaining, and if it was, then it was worth it. So let's take a look at our system here. As you can see, we have a very clean, very clear system now. Thank you very much for watching. Look out for Mission 5. We'll be back soon. I'm Ronin Pawn. Goodbye.